everyone. Thank you for coming. Thanks to Rowan, Michael, Midtown Publishing, and obviously thanks to John for giving his Fridays to us and the group for giving me their feedback. The story I'm going to read is called Fervor. I am not going to be reading from the very beginning, so I'll just give you a little context. Two guys in their mid-20s working in the produce department of a discount supermarket, southeastern Massachusetts, 1980s. And they are in the produce back room when the scene opens. I'm going to put up some bananas, I said. I pulled off my stained smock, sort of a big lab coat for people who operated on rotten fruit. I threw it on the cutting table. Rigo hopped the lumber and spit it in the barrel. "Don't milk it," he said. "The truck will be here any minute." I threw 2 boxes of bananas onto my cart. Before I pushed through the plastic dividing strips that separated the back room from the sales area, I poked through to check to see no one. "Any talent?" The aisle was empty except for a thin woman picking through the remains of the lettuce. She looked vaguely familiar, but she was dressed conservatively. Her long denim skirt and pullover sweater were a strange fit for early summer in New England. "Just some old librarian type," I said, and I stepped out onto the floor. Despite the warning, I milked it. I was tired of doing garbage, tired of listening to Rigo's inspirational speeches. I loaded and reloaded the bananas twice. The first time I went straight up and down, then I went diagonal left to right. I had pulled them off to go right to left diagonal when I felt a meaty fist in my lower back. "Last time," I said, not turning around. "Just give me a second." He leaned over and whispered in my ear. "You know her." "Huh?" "The chick in the little house in the prairie getup. You know her." I shrugged. I didn't know her. "She used to go to Olympus," he said. "She used to be kind of hot. She was a twag." A twag was a medium-hot older girl who worked it all the time. High heels at the beach, makeup in the supermarket, hoopy earrings in the gym. The woman in the aisle was definitely not a twag. But I turned to check anyway, peering over Rigo's beefy shoulder. It was Donna Davis. She had been a regular at Olympus where I used to DJ. She was a party girl. I had almost gone out with her about 10 times. She was not a twag. She looked toward us. I panicked and ducked. "Get up," he said, slapping me on the head. "She's going to think you're blowing me." I grabbed 2 overripe bananas from the garbage box under my cart. "No, I'm not," I said, handing him one. "I'm just getting us a snack." Rigo peeled his banana, bit half off, and started chewing. "She's probably Jehovah now," he said. He dropped the peel into the box and shook his head. "It's a freaking waste. Why do they have to take all the hot chicks? Some of these Jehovah deals are loaded with hotties. I don't understand it. If they're going to dress them like that, why don't they take the fatties and leave the hot chicks for us heathens?" Donna moved across the aisle to what was left of the salad items. She glanced over at us while she fingered tomatoes. I couldn't tell if she recognized me, resplendent as I was in my produce department vestments. Rigo slapped me on the shoulder. "If you're going to give your life to Jesus, buddy, make it quick. You need to unload that produce truck." I waited until Rigo disappeared, then wheeled up the opposite side of the aisle. I stopped in front of the acorn squash, roughly across from Donna. I watched her in the mirror, checked her cart for signs of weirdness, like arugula or soy products. But it was just normal food like Cocoa Pebbles, Hamburg buns, and whole milk. She still hadn't noticed me. If she'd been twagged out, I might have stopped by to say hello, but instead I pushed my cart toward the back. "Kenny! Hey! I didn't know you worked here." I always felt vaguely embarrassed when people said that. I was a 25-year-old community college dropout in a depressed mill town. Did people expect me to work at the UN? Donna wheeled her cart over. She was smiling, which was different for her. She had always done the moody, smoldering, slightly depressive thing. I liked it. I thought it showed sophistication. I found her disposition to be the most attractive part of her, along with her shoes. Donna always wore sexy shoes. Now she was smiling and not wearing sexy shoes. In fact, she was wearing the most unsexy shoes ever made. Those little flat white sneakers that looked they'd been shipped in from time capsule from 1958. "You didn't recognize me," Donna said, prompting. It was true. Beside the clothes, there was something weird with her face. It was like she'd gotten surgery to make her plainer. Rigo was right. I saw the whole script unfolding in front of me. I was supposed to say, "Hey, you look different." And then she would say, I'm not a moderately attractive heathen twag anymore. Jesus has changed my life, and he can change yours too. And then I would reach into my back pocket, pull out my box cutter, and slice open my carotid artery. But of course, none of that happened. I'm going to stop there, because we've been instructed to be brief, and I'm going to introduce Ingrid, using her words, not mine. Ingrid Lopez wrote her first tragedy at age 7 on a Soviet typewriter she says was roughly the size of a family sedan. She soon discovered that writing was the perfect loophole for lying without getting in trouble. As long as I typed it up and called it fiction, my mother never threatened to break out the dreaded chancleta, which is a flip-flop for those of you uninitiated in the art of Cuban child rearing. It is a truth universally acknowledged that all Cuban children quiver and pale at the mere mention of the chancleta. Ingrid has been a member of Friday Night Writers for about 4 years. There's nothing like a captive audience to improve the craft, she says. It's nice to bask in the warmth of glowing reviews by your best friend and your dog, but ultimately constructive criticism is the only way to get better at anything, with the exception of skydiving. Ingrid Lopez.